Did I enable auto captions? I did enable auto captions. That's good. I'm pleased, satisfied that I enabled auto captions. That is fantastic as always. It's always a start to the day. Sup, Blue Dinner Box, how you doing? Welcome to my album live stream, my review of Khalil Fong's album Timeless. Yes, I'm aware that it is it's a covers album. It has a few of the bigger tracks that I've seen, a few of the most popular tracks that I've seen from Khalil Fong, and it's interesting that they are covers. Don't worry. I will review more. I will review more of his stuff, for sure. I will review more of Khalil Fong's stuff in future. I try to do at least an album per artist a year as of this year, so that's great. But yeah, I look forward to checking out these 9 tracks today. If we switch over to here, we have ourselves 9. We got You Are the Sunshine of My Life. Nothing's going to change my love for you. Bad. La Bamba. Don't worry, I haven't listened to it. I was just making sure the lyrics could be translated because these are Spanish, obviously. And while I know a little bit of Spanish, I don't know enough for it to get me through that entirely. I'm kind of rusty with it, you know. We've got a Red Bean, if I'm not mistaken. Georgia on My Mind. Remember. Wonderful Tonight, which I'm wondering if that is... That my brain is saying that is. I'm going to confirm who wrote that one, but we got Moon River as well. To answer your questions, chat. Welcome to Blue Dinner Box. Welcome to the live stream, and Elsie, hello to you too. I don't think this video will get banned. There's literally no reason for it. It is a transformative. I suppose it is different just listening through the album. You know, I am talking about it as I go along. You know, I suppose it is technically for educational purposes, so it's technically educational. You know, yeah. I was wondering if it was Eric Clapton for the Wonderful Tonight one. I am aware of the song. I don't particularly like Eric Clapton because he said some really horrible stuff. But outside of that, you know. I look forward to hearing Khalil Fong's version of it. It may even be my favorite. Although, to be fair to Eric Clapton, I do actually enjoy the original track that he wrote. It's just the separation of the person and the art, you know? Hello, wise creature. Welcome to the live stream. We're just going to get started. And sup is Jelly. Hello to you too. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you like about this album? What do you like about this album? Let me know in the chat. Have a nice time. There we go. That is the pinned message for today. You know, what do you like about this album? Let me know and have a nice time. I could probably have put subshredders at the start, but that's something I'll do for next time. But yeah, let us begin with You Are the Sunshine of My Life, which I think is a Stevie Wonder song. I could be wrong. I'm sure you guys will let me know in a kind way. We do also have lyrics for 3 of the tracks, Red Bean as well, which I think is a Fei Wong track, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure who Remember is by, and La Bamba. We'll go from there. But anyways, let's go. Let's do it. You can have some lyrics for this as well. Fantastic to have the organs, the hand drums. You know, it's very charming, isn't it? You are the sunshine of my life. And I love Khalil's voice. I mean, I think that if you are brave enough to tackle a Stevie Wonder song, you've got some big gazungas on you, you know? Great backing vocals in there amongst everything else. I feel like this is the beginning. Oh, he does actually kind of sound a little bit like Stevie Wonder. Like, I'm hearing that in this, and I'm thinking, wow, this is phenomenal.
Though I loved you for a million years.
Great track so far.
And if I thought our love was ending, I'd find myself drowning in my own tears.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think the hand drums are a fantastic choice because even though you're following the story along and you're rolling with the chilled out kind of atmosphere created by those keys, just the grooves and the sub layerings there alongside the variations in the vocal lines is just such an interesting combination of elements. It's loving, but there's also a sophistication to it.
That's why I'll always stay around.
Really comfortable in his hidden chest voice, fantastic ornamentation there.
Forever you'll stay in my heart. You must have known that I was lonely, because you came to my rescue.
Is he doing like kind of beatboxing? Is he doing that kind of stuff in there? Because that's kind of a fun. That is a fun texture that we haven't really had yet. I'm wondering what else he's going to put into it. Oh, he's going really low into his chest voice there. It was an unusual texture. I'm not sure if I liked that part specifically, but really smooth though. The production is really solid. Like the legato style of the vocals contrasts to the dun 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 those sub rhythms there that just make this a really fascinating piece to listen to. I would have to listen to the original to really be able to kind of grade one against the other. And I don't know Khalil Fong well enough to know if he has truly made it his own, but I at least think it's a wonderful performance within itself. And I'm really satisfied with it. It's a fantastic introduction to what he's all about. And it's kind of cool how he has a fade out at the end because, like, it's a short track. It's not something I would typically expect for there to be like a, for there to be that kind of quietness with it. But, no filler whatsoever. No, fantastic effort on behalf of Khalil Fong there. I could definitely hear some of the Stevie Wonder in that. I think that those jazzy orientations combined with the laid-back, relaxed style of it were really romantic and fantastic. So that's the first track down. So that was good. What have you guys been talking about? We've got Paul saying, great cover album, great arrangement of Khalil Fong, which that's cool. There's La Bamba and other tracks like that in here, which, like if I look at the lyrics and I think it's the apple of my eye, forever you'll stay in my heart. You must have known that I was lonely because you came to my rescue. It's someone basically saving you from your loneliness and being something that you're truly grateful for. And I think that these are themes here that the song and the harmonies there kind of mirrored really sweetly. The sunshine of my life, that's why I'll always stay around. Yeah. Being grateful for the person you love, and I think Khalil Fong did sound like they were grateful in the song for who they have as part of their close family. So that was a really genuine performance. Yeah, definitely a great arrangement of Khalil Fong. LC confirms that it is Stevie Wonder, which is fantastic. Thank you for that, LC. And then finally, Is Jelly says, I felt this album really gave us a great insight on his influences as well as putting his own spin on each of the covers. That's cool. We're going to obviously check out Nothing's Gonna Change My Love for You. which I'm excited for because I do not recognize this. This is one of his big ones at 15 mil plays. This is obviously quite a popular track of his. We'll see how he spins it, you know. But yeah, great start so far. The production value is damn near flawless though. Like it's damn near flawless. Brass and guitars and the electric bass. Oh my goodness, there's so much to love. Oh, the cute little bell tree. Am I just showing a great sense of a huge sense of like ignorance here? Should I know who this track is by? I feel profoundly ignorant. I'm sure you guys will let me know who this is by. I'm sure you guys wouldn't leave me in the dark on that one. I mean, I've listened to this track. We have listened to this track because I've got the heart on it. I'm pretty sure it's in the fan request live stream, which the fan request live stream is next week. It's on the 22nd. Please, if you haven't already, join the Discord because there I typically lay out the live streams for the month on the Discord, so you'll know what's happening throughout April, and then I'll also plan out May soon, so you know what's happening throughout May. I like the arpeggiation of the guitars alongside the piano lines. I think the drums being that laid back suits what we had previously with the Stevie Wonder cover. The brass is so gentle. It's easy listening stuff, isn't it? You know. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You ought to know by now how much I love you. One thing you can be sure of, I'll never ask for more than your love. It's got the boy band aesthetic of the 90s for me. Like it reminds me a lot of the Backstreet Boys and like NSYNC and kind of Westlife and stuff like that. He absolutely nails that aesthetic. And I'm not sure if English is Khalil Fong's first language, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. It's so clear, man. It's wonderful, you know. And just, oh my god, I cannot get enough of the, you know, the really soft brass there. I would say it's staccato, but it's clearly not. The dynamic sort of reduction there is pianissimo, or at least it's like one of those. It's not even really mezzo. And he just hits those notes so cleanly as well. It's phenomenal vocal technique combined with a way of getting all the instruments involved to come together in a smooth, kind, caring, loving way that makes sense for the tone of the lyrics and everything else itself. If the road ahead is not so easy, love will lead the way for us, just like a guiding star. I'll be there for you if you should need me. You don't have to change a thing. I love you just the way you are. So come with me. I like the confidence of Khalil Fong as well. Like he doesn't feel the need to really add more than just himself in there as a singer. It's like he is on stage singing to you. You know. The name of the album is Timeless, which insinuates to me that he thinks these tracks are songs that will never age, never grow old. They'll be ones that you can appreciate forever because of how they're written and how they're performed. And I'm just seeing in the chat, Paul says the original singer was George Benson and Westlife also covered the song. Thank you. I was wondering if it was a Westlife song or something like that. That I'm glad that I was kind of close with that, but thank you for the clarification on that. There was a little bit of phasing on the vocal lines there with the double tracking there, but I don't think it's a detriment. It's just something I've noticed. He's up an octave. It's phenomenal. It's so subtle as well, but Makes it really bright on the entrance to the hook.
How much I love you. One thing you can be sure of, I'll never ask for more than your love. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You ought to know by now how much I love you. The world may change my whole life through, but nothing's gonna change my love for. Nothing's gonna change.
I mean, I don't even really mind that there is a key change here and that it is so instant and that it's kind of comes in with the bell tree there. I know that it's a cover and it's like meant to be sort of semi-faithful to the original whilst retaining what? I mean, I don't know if he's covering specifically the George Benson one or the Westlife one. There's an old-timey tone with elements like the brass and strings and stuff like that of like the 70s. With the boy band aesthetic of the 90s with the singing style. And, you know, there's a lot to appreciate here with his inclusion of the different sort of genres and styles there. He just sounds like an old soul when he sings, you know?
How much I love you. One thing you can be sure of, I'll never ask for more than your love. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You wanna know by now how much I love you.
Really easy to follow along to vocal line despite the complexity of the melody.
Nothing's gonna change my love for you.
And he just finishes on the guitar line. And what I love about these tracks as well is that they're so short. There is very little filler. He sings the track faithfully. He doesn't try to make an ego project. He doesn't add a whole lot of unnecessary like solo sections or whatever. None of his kind of like big vocal runs or whatever that you might have been tempted to do when you've got the platform to be able to do a covers album like this. He simply sings the tracks he thinks are timeless. He creates, whether he has people working with him or he creates the arrangements and compositions himself. I don't know what the situation is with Khalil Fong. You guys can let me know. But I'm just blown away by how friendly and how much I cherish it. And I genuinely think that he did a better job with this cover than Westlife did. This just seems a little bit fresher, which is weird because the production chops that we had in the 90s were considerably better, in my opinion, than what we had in the 2000s, where a lot of the stuff was a bit more squashed and there were loudness wars and studio production and all that at that point, where people were trying to get the songs as loud as possible. I mean, I just think this is well done. It doesn't sound prepackaged and commercialized. It sounds like it came from the heart. You know, you don't have to change a thing. I love you just the way you are. So come with me to share the view. I'll help you see forever too. I would love to see this guy live. I think that it'd be fantastic to watch Khalil Fong or go to one of his concerts. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Absolutely. Elsie says, yes, this track got banned in their live stream top 5. Haha, but basically you fell in love with Khalil from this track. Yeah, well, that's it. I have fallen back in love with Khalil. And I do not regret it one bit. I think that I appreciate you guys keeping track of that stuff because I don't like to forget stuff. But I do. Because I have a memory of a sieve with the important stuff. And I have the memory of an elephant with the stuff I don't really want to remember. But that's that's life, man. But yeah. Thanks to everyone for your thoughts on the album so far. We're going to continue with track number 3 now. Listening time. Bad. There wasn't anything more of this one, was there? No, there wasn't. That's okay. Bad. Your butt is mine. Gonna tell you right, just show your face in broad daylight. Damn, dude. Damn, man. Sick tunes, dude. Love that sort of simple 16th note groove with the guitars, man.
Don't take it right. Just show your face in broad daylight. I'm telling
yep,
you.
fantastic use of the brass there to fill in that gap.
Gonna hurt your mind. Don't shoot to kill. Come on.
And it's a different vocal style to what we had with the previous track. It's a lot less gentle than we had there. there's a bit of it's a bit more assertive in this one, you know. We have that tonal flexibility there.
Come on, lay it on me. Alright.
I like the sound design as well, how things go around the headphones, kind of surround you, but like more than the typical 100% of the way. Clear attention to detail there.
I'm telling you, just to watch your mouth. I know your game, what you're about. Well, they say the sky's the limit, and to me that's really true. But my friend, you have seen nothing. Just wait till I get through, because I'm bad.
This is I'm Bad, I'm Bad. Isn't this Michael Jackson? This is Michael Jackson, right? I'm bad, I'm bad. Da, 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 da. Yeah, that does that kind of stuff, yeah. But it's in a different key signature. So this is something that I don't know if I've spoken about. Often musicians will change the notes that they use in a song so that it suits the vocalist's range. Like, there's just notes that Khalil Fong might not be able to hit that Michael Jackson could. So he'll change the notes that that are in the song to suit what he's capable of. Yeah.
Come on, you know I'm bad, I'm bad. You know it, you know I'm bad, I'm bad. Come on, you know, and the whole world has to answer right now just to tell you once again.
I mean, I personally don't think it's really. I don't think at this point it's possible to really equal the original in this situation. I think Michael was just in another league, you know. I remember reviewing the Thriller album a while back, which is, you know, it's a shame because a lot of my older live streams had kind of shit audio because it was like quiet because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. It's fixed now and it's better than it was, thank goodness. But yeah, it was a great album, and I would like to review another Michael Jackson album at some point if I get the opportunity to do so. But yeah, I'm glad he's not doing the sounds that Michael made. I like that Khalil Fong isn't doing the sounds that he made. Like come on, he doesn't do the you know what I mean. He's not trying to be Michael Jackson. He's making his own while singing the lyrics, including little bits like the crowd chants and stuff, but nothing more than that.
The word is out, you're doing wrong. Don't lock you up before too long. Your lying eyes won't take you.
It's a ballsy move, covering Michael Jackson all the same, you know.
Don't make a fight. Your talk is cheap. You're not a man. You're throwing stones to hide your hands. But the say the sky.
I like the laughing though. Like, there's clear attention to detail to kind of mirror the aesthetic of it whilst making it his own.
And to me, it's really true.
Like the chatting around the people on the sides.
Just wait till I get through because I'm bad.
And there are again falsettos.
Come on. You know I'm bad. I'm bad.
Like,
You know it. You know I'm bad. I'm bad. Come on. You know. And the whole world has to answer right now just to tell you once again.
who's bad? Yeah, again, it's a classic. And the whole world has to answer right now just to tell you once again who's bad. Like, I don't know many singers who could pull off that kind of swagger with those lyrics. I don't know. I don't know how, if you could pull off the swagger with this aesthetic, you know, like I don't know many other singers that could, but I still think that Khalil's done, considering how it could have gone if he tried to be too loyal to the original and tried to be like Michael. Yeah.
We could change the world tomorrow.
And it'd be cool. You know what'd be cool? You know what'd be cool if like if there was like a solo section, if you could like put in the solo section like guitar solo by blah. Because to me, like, a solo instrument is just as important as the vocals. If you have a solid lead instrument, it can tell the same story, or even a different story that kind of buffs up the original sort of themes that were communicated.
Better place. If you don't like what I'm saying, then I won't just slap my
I wish they like included like the instrumentalists in the. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that I wish they included like the different band members in the info for on Spotify for these tracks, because they only typically show the songwriters. But I think that the people who play the instruments deserve equal credit.
I'm bad, come on. You know I'm bad, I'm bad. You know it, you know
I don't think it's as sassy and zazzy as the original. It doesn't have the edge that the original does. I think that while Khalil Fong, as I mentioned earlier, has gone for a different vocal style here, I don't think he's quite nailed the aesthetic or the sort of way style that Michael had, and I don't think that's an easy thing to do, if possible.
I'm bad, I'm bad.
But yeah, it's all subjective opinions, you know?
I'm bad, bad.
He's hitting the notes. Okay, before we go into the next one, just I want to go back to yeah, Bad real quick, just to kind of finish it off. He did a great job of singing the notes and the lines in a way that made sense from like an actual like an actual musical perspective. He hit those notes cleanly. There was some really tricky passages there where there was use of legato with some of those vocal lines there, a bit of vibrato. He hit those falsetto backing vocals on the sides really well and harmonized with himself incredibly well, and I'm very happy with that, the way the things were incorporated. I think the use of the drums, the synth parts, the brass, the guitar, like all the different instruments in there perform their functions really eloquently and to a way that I think is really respectful to the original, whilst also kind of how do I describe this? I think that the instruments played their parts well, and I think that Khalil Fong sang the song well musically. The attitude, I think, the sassiness, the zazziness just wasn't quite the same. And, you know, truth be told, it's I guess I see it in the intro. I don't think it's easy to do Michael Jackson like Michael Jackson does, but I still respect the effort. So it has tinges of the original, at least compositionally, but performance it's a tricky thing. But anyways, we'll have a look at the chat. Paul says, just noticed that Spotify seems to be missing 2 songs from the album. Yeah, it does. I've noticed that. There is a song missing there. And on like if I go to Timeless, I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, you've got You Are the Sunshine of My Love. Nothing's Gonna Change My Love for You, Bad. It's missing Kwang Chao. This is the song that it's missing on Spotify. Which is by Susanna Kwan. So that's a song that I can't have a listen to at the moment, which is a shame. There are 9 tracks here. So I'm thinking that we are missing the Susanna Kwang track, and then we've got the rest of them. But there may also be another version that you know, Paul, where they have 11, and then there is an extra one that I haven't heard of. There is also a concert version where he went around the place and like played these songs, or maybe there are versions he did at concerts where that was all of that, and it was pretty wild. I think it was like a live album of lots of different takes he did. Yeah. But yeah, it's okay though. Like, it's all right. You can if it was there, I would have done it, but I just don't have access to it. I don't know why they've removed that track, but they did. It's just what it is, you know. It's a shame, but it's what it is. Yep, definitely. MJ says Blue Dinner Box. Deep out time. Who do we have here? Wang Yuxing says, I'm assuming that's Bad is not very popular in Chinese mainland. Exactly, Hong Kong singer lost for the market for a long time. Yeah, that's interesting because, like, you know, even if you don't necessarily, I suppose it's about what they're talking about. Is it that it's just a little bit kind of edgy lyrically, and so it's not as popular? I'm not sure, but I can understand why it might not have been popular. You just how people's tastes are different, you know. Elsie says, this is my least favorite track of the album. Not sure this aesthetic works for me for the song. Yep. No, I'd go with that, eh? I'd agree with that, Elsie. Definitely. I think that, yeah, exactly. I'm a Khalil fan, but he lacks the swag and attitude the song requires. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I should just make this big. 250. No, it needs to be 200, yeah. It works me through the song. Yeah, I don't think it works for the song either, at all. Which again, it's just one of those things, right? But, you know, on the same time, that's just part of life, I suppose. The main thing is we can appreciate the effort that they put in to make it enjoyable to listen to regardless. Yeah. And Jacob Good says, I'm a family outing, so can't listen in. Have a good time, people. Hey, Jacob, if you're watching this after the fact, thank you for coming in. Good to see you. Have a good time with your family, right? Or hopefully you had a good time with your family. You know, family is important. And Amos Young says, finally got to catch you live. Yeah, you did. I'm live. I'm doing the clicky stuff right now. I'm live. It's nice to be live. For anyone that's watching this during the live stream or afterwards, I typically live stream on Saturdays, New Zealand time at 5 p.m. Now, I think I have the Pacific time on the live stream playlist. What time is it Pacific time? What time is it Pacific time at the moment? It's 10:31 p.m. Pacific time. So basically, I'm at the moment streaming at 10 p.m. Pacific time on a Friday. It makes it a little bit difficult, I suppose, for some people because, like, it's 10 p.m. Friday, but it's 5 p.m. Saturday. But yeah, probably go with the Pacific time version and you'll be sweet. Okay? Or you can just, you know, go with New Zealand time and it's good. Yeah. So 10 p.m. Pacific time for these live streams. Next week is a fan request live stream, so it's not a patron one. So don't worry, we're not doing a patron fan request live stream next week. So if you come in, as long as you come in at the start of the live stream, there's a chance you'll be able to get your track played. We are getting through more tracks now per live stream, so it's a little bit better because I don't spend as much time chatting to people. Well, it's not that I don't chat to people, but I'm a little bit less I don't go on tangents like I used to, you know? I don't get distracted by flashing lights and shiny objects. But anyways, let's continue. Just before we continue, we got Blue Dinner Box says, Khalil was never very popular in China, TBH. He used to have hits and fan base, but still not mainstream. No, well, I think that honestly part of that could be just the oversaturation of the market. Like, yeah, there's a lot of musicians out there, and it's very difficult to be in the top 1% of artists who are really well known. It's really difficult. But I can still nonetheless appreciate Khalil Fong's work, and I'm thankful to all of you watching this. For those of you who have recommended me to listen to more of Khalil Fong's stuff, because he is a fantastic musician, even if I didn't necessarily enjoy Bad as much as the other two. And thank you, Jelly, for that clarification on that. So we're going to continue now with track number 4, which is La Bamba. La Bamba. Maybe? Can't play the current song. Why can't you play the current song? Why can't you play the current song? There you go. Oh no, I'm confusing it with another one. Whoops. I'm sorry. That was embarrassing. Oh no, I'm not. I am absolutely not confusing it. Cool. Alright, we should be good now. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so I just had OBS cut out there, so we're just gonna listen through the song again. I did reset my router before I start this live stream, I don't know why we are having issues with the internet at this point. Just gonna like just check that there's any issues. Have I got anything else there? Like, am I on? Nope, nothing else looks weird. It's just that I guess I have to go buy an internet router or something like that. But we'll continue, okay? So what I like about this, I think I was talking about it before, is that we have the keys, the double bass at the start. Very little Khalil Fong up until that 10-second mark where he comes in. It's just a general classiness and a kind of confidence and allowing the listener to just kind of vibe, you know? Very relaxed, back to a lot of the feel that we had in the first two tracks. Especially in like another language, because this is, I'm not sure, it sounds like he's fluent in Spanish. I'm not sure how close this is to the original, primarily because I'm a little bit sort of unfamiliar with the original, but this kind of like lounge jazz kind of aesthetic there, I'm sure it'll make more sense if we listen to the lyrics as well, but it's just very relaxing to listen to. I don't know if there's necessarily the energy of some of the other tracks we've had. I don't know if this has got equivalent energy to the original. I get the impression there's a bit more oomph to the original. Nice use of the cowbell though. Great piano solo though. Very charming. An unusual thing as well is we've got the double bass panned on the side, like on the left side, and I'm not used to having the double bass played like that. It's usually the bass is in the center of the stereo field, like in the center, and for it to be on the left there to allow Khalil Fong to be the focal point is weird because he notches on top of that frequency wise anyways. So it's an interesting studio decision. Oh, trumpet solo, fantastic. It's incredibly intricate. Because with such minimal, with such a minimal amount of lyrics, it's really kind of fascinating how much we are getting out of the accompaniment here. Again with those solo sections, but they're kind of a necessary thing, right? Bam, bam. Great swing groove there with the drums. Or is that a swing groove? It's more like kind of a Latin dance groove, isn't it? Is that literally the bamba rhythm, or is it a form of another one? I really should know. I should just Google it, shouldn't I? It's kind of magical. So light and fluffy, isn't it? I adore the airiness that we had there. The pause, you know, where we had just the claps on a different side of the stereo field there. It's such a unique thing that I haven't experienced before. To just have the instruments kind of come out and really just have a pause there. A bit of mystery. A little bit of uncertainty about where we're going to go next there. Like, you still feel like you're in the same room as you were before. But it's just great, sort of like a mass hypnosis, like a, just everyone in sync. The piano playing is so articulate and such a great sort of substitute for the relative like, I never knew the song for this. I knew da da bum ba ba da 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 da. Like, I always knew that melody because that was the hook line, right? But I never realized that there was such range there, performance-wise, you know, tonally, in terms of some of the scale shapes, as well as the chromatics, the semitonal shifts we had there, a bit of sort of those jazzy sort of modulations. Oh crap, man, that piano though. I'm blown away by it. And the drums as well. Is this Khalil Fong playing? Surely it's Khalil Fong playing here, right? Or is it Richie Valens? What is Richie Valens doing? Who plays the piano in the song? Who is doing what parts? Piano parts are so final and kind of like gritty. On the left hand. Rasta. Soaring over top of the really intricate. Like, honestly, that soloing is sensational. I don't know whether that was improvisation or whether he planned out those voicings there. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he improvised it. There's a lot of notes to remember, right? I think that track was all the more popular for staying away from the need to have the vocals go the entire way. You know, at that point in like the 2 or 3 minute part where we had more of the lyrics come in and sort of like establish themselves, you know, I was like, how are we gonna get this to 5 minutes? But yeah, again, the pianos and the trumpet parts and everything else there just really kind of smashed it out of the park. And what was the song about, actually, just before we continue? Because I've got lyrics here. What was the song about? Yeah, La Bamba. To dance the Bamba, you need a little grace. B.O.B. I'm not a sailor, I'm a captain. Yeah. I'm not a sailor, I'm a captain. So is it talking about like taking the lead in the dance or something like that? Is that what it's about? It takes that's the special sort of dance. Like, it's almost like it kind of is parallel to what Khalil Fong is doing in the track from a solo perspective there. He's not just singing the track and kind of telling you the story. He then backs it up with his instrumental prowess, his ability to really kind of slam those keys or anything else that's going on within it. The ability to compose those chops and have, again, just the claps, you know, but then to also, I mean, I'm blown away by it, actually. I can understand why some of you like really, really enjoy this track in particular. This one, he definitely conclusively made his own. I have not heard a version of La Bamba like this. At least not like, it doesn't sound like the original to me. It doesn't sound like, yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. I don't know, like I sound like I'm kind of a little bit overwhelmed just because of how awesome that was. Yeah. Compared to other niche singers, Khalil Fong is already very popular. Yeah, I can imagine so, Paul. I can imagine so, Paul 7931. I mean, I hear him and I think, okay, why isn't this guy huge? What is he missing? You know, what is missing from Paul, you know, from Khalil Fong that wouldn't make him huge? I think that there's, you know, there's oversaturation in the market, but there's room for people who can perform like this for sure. And Elsie says, I love this version of La Bamba, really made it his own. I agree with that. Fundamentally, I agree. I just want to give a quick shout out as well on La Bamba to the drums. We didn't need to go that hard with those. I like how the drums kind of came out and kind of like sat quite quietly when they were doing the clap clap part. And then they had this kind of little shuffle kind of groove there, switching throughout the rest of it. It was simply like a foundation for everything else to lean on alongside the double bass. But there was still a sense of there was some hella sick kind of drum grooves going on there as a sub layer. Little 16th, maybe even 32nd note parts between the hi-hat, snares, and everything like that. I'm really fantastic stuff. But we've got Red Bean, track number 5. Now I do have lyrics for this one, so don't worry. And I know that this is, I think this is a Fei Wong song, if I'm not mistaken.
还没好好地感受雪花绽放的气候，我们一起战斗，会更明白什么是温柔。还没跟你牵着手，走过荒芜的沙洲，可能从此以后学会珍惜。
Okay, so we have the guitars. We have Khalil Fong in his chest voice, just really comfortable in there, singing really softly and sweetly. The drums come in with a kind of that sort of raw acoustic tone, which I always appreciate in tracks like these, because I mean, sample drums in a situation like this would sound thoroughly disingenuous. Bass is nice and thick there on the bottom as well. Great use of falsetto head voice there. Don't know if it will be falsetto actually. A little bit of ornamentation there. This sounds a little bit more conservative than what we've had previously. Considering the complexity of some of the other compositions, I get the impression that he's needing to be a little more careful with this one. Not alienate too far from the original. The string addition is charming and lovely and silky smooth in that high end. Very conservative arrangement, but I mean, after La Bamba, you don't really need a whole lot of flourish, do you? Oh, the keys on the top are a lovely texture, dude. It's great. Just have a break. I don't know if this was in the original. This could be him trying to make it his own at this point. Sorry to interrupt that part. I love that is premium studio quality. For things just to go that quiet, that sweetly, that effortlessly. The whole band goes out and he comes back in himself, as you heard. And it's just kind of the tightest re-entry that I've heard in my life to a hook section. It's never that smooth. It never kind of hangs like that. It's a hell of a pregnant pause, that's for sure. A little bit of adjustment to the way the guitar's voiced. Kind of sounds like a movie soundtrack with the way the strings are flourishing in that high end, soaring upwards the ascensions. I think that was him making it his own near the end with the way that you know, he had the keys going up the right hand and extensions, those increments there. That was the most harmonically complex we had it in the entire performance as an outro to a huge song, Red Bean, if I'm not mistaken. I've listened to the original. I don't know which one I prefer. I'm assuming, by the way, that they are the same lyrics. Yeah, lyrics by Khalil Fong. So I'm going to have a look through the lyrics for this one. I still haven't had a good experience in the climate of blooming snowflakes shivering together. We'll learn what tenderness is. You know, I've been doing this for years, and I still don't get the concept of red beans. Like, I don't get the concept of red beans. I understand they're like a thing about love. Like, red bean is like, you love someone, so you like give them a red bean or something like that. And that could be wrong, but I have the memory of sieve with some things, and I do care about it. I just don't I should just Google it. I should just Google it. You know. So I think this track, if I'm not mistaken, is about someone who is looking at whoever they're with and going, okay, so like, I know things aren't good between us, or maybe things aren't what we expected. I know that we come and go and we have these kind of weird sort of like communications and little bits of like these difficulties, but I think this time I just want to sort of take my time and really appreciate what I have before I just decided to kind of like take a break again. That's my determination of what this track is about. Feel free to let me know if I'm mistaken. That's my best guess at it, you know. Hopefully it's not too far off. I think that, you know, my comments on this track are that it's very, very, very careful to not depart from what the original did. I don't think that I think maybe he was like worried that the audience would be a little bit less patient with huge changes, and more sort of probable is that he had a respect for Faye Wong and didn't want to do too much to alienate himself from what Faye wanted. Like I think that with Michael Jackson, he just wanted to do a Michael Jackson track, and he did the best he could at it. But I don't know if it would have gone as well if he'd been a little bit too sort of flirtatious with this one and kind of gone off the rails with it. So still a good track. I'm still happy with it. But I did miss La Bamba immediately. There was just so much creativity with La Bamba, especially with those solo voicings and all the kind of crazy, kind of experimental semitonal stuff. Is the track not titled Red Bean though? Is that, yeah, because it's called Red Bean, right? So like what is, I'm hoping I have the track down anyways, but that's my thoughts on it. Okay. As Jelly says, he just never really played the industry game. He keeps to himself and you rarely see him do anything else than just music. Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, why would you overcomplicate your life by doing a lot of unnecessary stuff you don't have to do? Being a musician is hard, man. And being a professional musician, that is difficult because you've just got to keep popping out them singles, man. You got to, like, can you imagine the nightmare of needing to figure out a way to get like 10 million streams with each song? You need to continuously write stuff at that level. You have no guarantee that people will care. You know, do you know what I understand? You know what I mean? It's like, it's so stressful being a professional musician. From what I've learned from talking to musicians at like a lower and like a mid-level, because I used to interview musicians and stuff like that. It's great when it pops off and it works, but it can be a huge gamble, you know. Loot in the Box says this is a good cover. It is not offensive. It's just what people wanted back then. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Only one line is related directly to Red Bean, actually. Yeah, I know. I was just going through the Red Bean thing just because the song was titled Red Bean. You know what I mean? Fang wrote some Chinese-style songs for Fiona. These sit. Fiona sit. Those songs are very melodious. A fruitless love affair. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Fang. A fruitless love affair. So is that based off of that? That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to be thinking about that for a little bit. It's great to learn more about these tracks as we go along. I've enjoyed my time listening through his music so far, and while I haven't necessarily enjoyed everything, I can still nonetheless appreciate the work that's gone into it. So we've got Georgia on my mind. Track number 6. I don't think I'll be needing lyrics for this one, as it is in English, but we will see. There might be some surprises, some interesting words come in.
Georgia, Georgia.
I was thinking that with the strings and the way they entered, it was going to be like a Disney film or something like that. You know how the Disney films start with the whole orchestra coming in? But then we've got the contemporary sounding, like the new age kind of guitar, drum combos, etc.
The whole day through.
Yeah, no, there's a polish to this, isn't
Just
there?
an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Yeah.
Those bluesy intonations are fantastic. Wait, did we have the electric guitarist just in?
Georgia, a song of you.
Great call and response with the guitar parts there.
And clear as moonlight through the pine.
I mean, you look at you know, a song of you comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines. It's just such evocative imagery, right? It's such evocative imagery. It is so powerful, and there are so few words to really communicate that.
Other arms reach out to me.
A little bit of sadness in there. And the guitar parts, chords in the background.
Still in peaceful dreams I see. Oh,
Again, a really competent vocal performance for sure.
back to you, I say, Georgia, sweet Georgia.
Phenomenal dynamic range to this recording, by the way. Can you hear those really quiet strings? I'm hoping you guys can hear it after the amount of time I spent doing the audio on these live streams recently. Maybe listen through headphones if you aren't already. But there's fantastic sub-layering to the instruments within this track. Different volumes of different things. But you can still hear them clearly because of the arrangement.
Other arms reach out to me. Other eyes smile tenderly. Still in peaceful dreams I'll see on the road.
I mean, even if you're not a massive fan, like even if you prefer the original to Ray Charles's one, songs like this are great for two reasons, okay? The first is that it showcases what Khalil Fong is capable of when he has the opportunity and the agency to do some like an album like this. The second reason is that when someone performs a really great cover version of a song, it can encourage you to hear what the original sounds like. And I am not sure of the percentage of people that in Khalil Fong's audience that are familiar with Ray Charles's work. But what I am hoping is that this has encouraged people to listen to Ray Charles's music by virtue of listening to this track. I think that is the beauty of covers when they are well done, is that you're intrigued by it and you're like, where did this come from? How did he figure this one out, you know? Or was he inspired by it? The vocal runs are wonderful though. He's a sensational singer, man. Like those runs, those melodies, go effortless between him and chest voice. And the strings are gliding up and with him, and the guitar is talking to him in the gaps, and the drums with their triplet groove are kind of guiding him along, and everything is so supportive of one another and so well thought out, you know?
Forever home, forever home, forever home, my mind.
Oh shit. Woo! That was sick, man. Sorry, I think I just made a pee. Didn't mean to do that, I apologize. It was probably loud, but I was blown away by that. Oh boy, that was good though. That was good. Well done to him, man. Well done. I really should just put a limiter. Why the So there's a thing in music where you can have a limiter. And what a limiter does is it takes the loud, you put it at the end of your signal chain on like OBS, and it stops your microphone from peaking. But yeah, I really need to get a limiter so that I can have like, so that my signal doesn't peak when I kind of make sounds through the microphone. Although I think that was in the original mic pre, but that's okay. Yeah. But that's cool. Yeah. Georgia on My Mind, though, I think it was a faithful rendition of the original. I don't think it's meant to be a replacement for it. And I loved it. And genuinely, do you know what I'm going to do? This is what I enjoy about this, is that I'm going to be listening to this song on my way to my girlfriend's tonight. I'm going to be listening to this song on my way driving there, because see, that's what I mean. Like, look, Paul, what Paul has just said here, I went to listen to Stevie Wonder because of Khalil Fong. That's the point. That's the point I was making. Is that cover albums can be so wonderful because you get to hear the original influences of the artist. You get to know them more closely. It's an intimate insight into who made them who they are, right? But then you also get to enjoy all the music they grew up with. And I can promise you that musicians like Khalil Fong, the one thing that you have that they don't is you have the opportunity to experience all this music for the first time. They can never do that again. So if you're in a position where you're unsure of where you are in your own sort of journey as a music listener or as a fan of music, just know that if you find a great band, that is an experience you will share with him no matter where your lives end up. Is that you will both, if you listen to that music, be able to appreciate it the same way because you'll get to enjoy that magic. And he's kind of like just speed gating you to the best stuff as well. Because like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, how can you go wrong with that, you know? It's wonderful. So that was cool. I think it was about him missing Georgia, the state. And other states want him to live there, but he wants to go back to Georgia. Like maybe like homesickness or something like that, you know? But yeah. No one is going to surpass Ray Charles' original version, in my opinion, but it's still a great cover. Absolutely. Jacob is thinking about it. Hopefully the thinking is going well. Elsie says, you nailed it. He wants to introduce music to Chinese audiences because most of them only stick to Chinese pop. This album is definitely aimed to educate the Chinese audience. And like, don't get me wrong, like, I get it. You know, when I was growing up as a teenager, all I wanted to do was listen to metal. Because I was a metalhead. I loved my emo, my thrash metal, my death metal, and all that kind of stuff. I loved all that stuff. And I was like, with all this here, I don't want to listen. I mean, I did like hip-hop and rap too, I suppose. Okay, so maybe I didn't stick to one genre. But I know people who only listen to pop music. And it's wonderful watching them actually have their like lives opened up to all this wonderful, incredible music. This stuff they wouldn't try usually, but they give it a shot and they're like, actually, this is awesome. It's so cool, man. It's so cool. I hope that people who have only listened to pop music, wherever you are, if it's Chinese pop or like Western pop, I hope that people who only listen to that stuff get the chance someday to listen to hear something different and appreciate it. You know. So I vibe with that, Elsie, absolutely. Thank you for letting me know that I nailed it. And yeah, as Paul7931 said, I went to listen to Stevie Wonder because of Khalil Fong. Good on you for branching out, my dude. Good on you. We got track 7, by the way. Track 7, which is, I think, Remember. Now, Remember was difficult because I could not find lyric translations for that. So what I had to do was I had to go on DeepL for that. So no, I don't know if these are going to be perfect. I don't know if these lyric translations are going to be perfect, but they're going to be the best we can do. Okay? So let's do it. Let's continue to Remember, track number 7 for today. Instantly with the piano though. Kind of reminds me of the Red Bean song a little bit, with the way he's singing. Like there's gradual accents on every second bar of like, is it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so are there like accents on the whole notes? The little synthy beat boops on the sides are fun though. But I don't know anything about the song, I don't recognize it, so hopefully you guys will help me figure it out. I mean, there's lovely development of the theme here musically. I think in regards to what the piano is doing, I think the piano kind of spices it up in that break there in a way that allows for the substitution of it with the vocals. Strings coming in here is kind of a common thing for for Khalil Fong at that point. I'm noticing the pattern of having the strings come in like the second verse or something like that. It's fine. I think it happened in Red Bean as well.
亲爱的，为什么？也许你也不懂，两个相爱的人等着对方先说想分开的理由。谁还记得爱情？
Amos Young, thank you for letting me know that it was originally by Ame. Ame, I think we've reviewed music from her and fan requests, but I would quite like to check out maybe some more of her work at some point. I think that'd be great.
开始变化的时候，我和你的眼中看见了不同的天空，走得太远，终于走到分岔路的路口，是不是你和
It really is more of a show of his vocal chops. Now that was cool. We had a major chord there to finish, but he paralleled it to a minor, as if to insinuate that there was some darkness that was going to come from this, you know? Great job of the misty guitars with the drums, man. And the synth sequences as well. Damn, dude, the bass coming in strong with those root notes. Oh, man. Oof, goodness. And it's composed by J.J. Lin. Man, so we got like lots. It's great to hear lots of musicians featured, and I'm starting to know these musicians well. Thanks to you guys introducing me to them. I'm glad to be recognizing the names now, you know? A wonderful instrumental break there, phenomenal.
谁还记得是谁先说永远的爱我？以前的一句话是我们以后的伤口，过了太久没人记得。
I do miss the instrumental break that we had before, though. I think that it, you know, it's sad that we couldn't have more of that.
走到最后。
I mean, it's gorgeous with the natural harmonics and the strings carrying us out like a lot of the other outros to this track and to this album. But yeah, I listen to this, I think, man, I really enjoyed what was going on with the guitars and the strings and the bass and the flurries there, the rises and the dancing around in that interlude section. It was truly wonderful. It would have been cool to have maybe been able to bring that along to the outro chorus, although maybe more context for that will come within the lyrics section, of which we do have lyrics. So I will be checking through those now, you know, remember. I will make these small. Actually, no, there's no point because it doesn't change the formatting of that, so that's fine. Remember, we have forgotten how long we've been on this road. It is clear in my mind that one day it will all stop. I don't understand this. Where did it? Am I missing parts? Am I missing parts of Remember? Gotta find. Here we go. Gonna copy that over. It'll be really embarrassing if like I completely missed the track here. Yeah, there we go. Got it. Here we go. So I'm just gonna continue reading through this. I held hands with you and said that we would walk together until the end. Okay, so I think that this track is about someone sort of saying to the other, you know, or like commiserating, you know, where did we go wrong? Why are things the way they are? How could we have avoided this? You know, they just really detest that this misery occurred in the first place. It's like, man, it really sucks that we had all this passion and to begin with, but then we inevitably ended up fading away from that, and we've just become a ghost of our former selves. That's what I think that Remember is about. I think that the performance there vocally with the pianos was good. I think that you know, again, there wasn't really a note out of place with any of the instrumental parts, and technically Khalil Fong did a great job. And I think that it was a fitting tribute to the original May track, you know, considering what I've heard from her. The part that made it Khalil Fong's, I think, was that interlude bit. And I'm sad that there wasn't more of that in the track, but I also understand that maybe he didn't feel the need to do too much of that simply because he wanted to be short and sweet. And just to maybe that really kind of incredible moment there in the interlude was because of the fact it was demonstrating how things used to be and how amazing they were. Do you know what I mean? I think that's actually it. I think what he was trying to demonstrate was the passion that they used to have outside of the quietness of the loneliness that they feel even when they're together. That's my take on what that track is about, why they made the decisions they made from a compositional and arrangement perspective. So in that respect, I think it works to an extent. We'll have a look at the chat. Amos Young says, yeah, this is a song originally by Ame. It's Nino says, more importantly, it's composed by JJ Lin. And Amos says, there's a version by JJ Lin too, which is the most popular rendition. It does not surprise me. JJ Lin is a popular musician, and they do very well for themselves. I remember listening to JJ Lin and being very happy with what I heard. Or with Genesis. Although, to be fair with Genesis, it took me a while to really figure out how I felt about Genesis. People explained the concept of the album of Genesis to me, and I'm still kind of figuring it out. I don't think it's because I'm dumb. I'm not taking it personally. I'm trying to corroborate with what I heard and what I'm being told. And I think maybe it's just something where you need a second listen to it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. No, it's good. And then finally, we have Paul 7931, which says, I'm not sure whether Khalil Fong is suitable for singing JJ Lin's song. I don't like the song very much. Yeah, I know, man. It's like, I kind of feel like it can be a tricky thing when you've got certain musicians that just don't maybe tonally suit a track. I don't think he sang badly, but I don't really think I'm as familiar with JJ Lin's original as I need to be in order to really pass judgment. Even if I was, I think that when you do a cover of someone's song, you know, there's like several components which are important. It's singing the notes correctly, having the accompaniment be faithful to the original without trying to copy it completely when you make it your own. And then finally, it's the attitude or the personality of the delivery. And I don't know about the personality of it. It sounded like he kind of made sense with the lyrics, but yeah, it's still, I can understand if people aren't totally vibing with it. It's cool. But we've got Wonderful Tonight. Track number 8. It is Eric Clapton. It is absolutely Eric Clapton that we're listening to for track number 8. I'm really hoping I enjoy this more than the original, because I don't like Eric Clapton. Please, Khalil Fong, do it.
It's late in the evening. She's wondering what clothes to wear.
Oh, he's departing from the original melody a little bit.
On her makeup and brushes her long blonde hair. And then she asks me, do I look alright? And I say, yeah.
Oh, damn.
You look wonderful tonight.
Oh, I don't know. There's that. there's little bits of like the organs. I think it's missing the organ that we had in the original. So this isn't even like the Eric Clapton part. It's that there's like an organ in the original one, which kind of makes sense with the marriage part of things, and that doesn't have that da 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 dun dun at that, you know, do I look alright? As if it's like a moment of like, oh, we have to make the right decision here. Thank you, Elsie, I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to it continuing and to hear it through. I think the softness and the sweetness of his voice works really well.
This beautiful lady that's walking around with me, and then she asked me, do you feel alright? And I say yes, I feel wonderful tonight.
I think he's objectively a better singer than Eric Clapton. Just technically, some of those runs are phenomenal.
Because I see the love light in your eyes, and the wonder of it all is that you just don't realize how much I love you.
Okay, so we've got a solo section here. Oh, good man.
It's time to go.
Oh, that was classy. That was classy. You could have gone ham on that. You could have made it your own by really kind of scuffing it by making the solo or instrumental break twice as long. But they had the moment there, and they just kept it faithful to the original. And I have to show some love to Khalil Fong for that. To show that restraint when we've had the piano solos and the trumpet solos and the other sort of like instrumental performances previously. To keep it that simple is such a class act, man.
Now, and I've got an aching head, so I give her the car keys. She helps me to bed, and then I tell her as I turn out the light, I say, my darling, you were wonderful tonight. Oh, my darling, you were wonderful tonight.
How is he going to finish it though? Wow, man. That was gold. That was gold. That was a gold. That was phenomenal. Let's talk about that one. Let's talk about that run real quick. So we've got time. I think we're doing well for time. Yeah, we're at 6:24. We usually go for 2 hours, so we're doing really well for time, which is fantastic. When you hear a song, you know, it's late in the evening, she's wondering what clothes to wear. You can hear what they're doing with the guitar and the bass and the drums and all that. It just sounds like an acoustic performance in like a really classy venue. But it also sounds like they're going to a party. But it also sounds like it sounds like Khalil Fong is actually talking about a woman that they're with. You know, he sells it so well. I am not a massive fan about the departure from some of the melodies. Like, she's wondering what clothes to wear part. It's not the same as Eric Clapton's original one. And I'm not sure why he chose to do that, change there note-wise. And I know that I probably sound like I'm being utterly pedantic about it, but it kind of sounds like he's hovering over the notes, kind of not wanting to go in until the last minute. And it's just when I'm so intimately familiar with the track, for reasons that I really don't want to go into at the moment, it's just... that was what kind of caught me off guard initially, because I was like, okay, if you're being so faithful to the original with the guitar parts, why are we not being as faithful with the vocal melodies? But then as we went through the song and further developed it, I love Light in Your Eyes, and the wonder of it all is that you just don't realize how much I love you. It turns away from Eric Clapton and becomes his own. It includes some of the jazz kind of soul and fusions that I've heard from Khalil Fong throughout this album. And the best parts of his tone of delivery come through. He shows off his acumen as a singer, as a performer, and he sold it to me at that halfway point. If I hadn't heard the original, I'm sure I would have loved the whole entire song. Initially, I wasn't super duper sold on it, but as we went through it, I fell in love with it again. And by the time we got to that last chorus, you know, the quietness of the delivery with the chillness of the guitar playing, the somber tone of the drums, and the bass just following in. I actually talked about not wanting I wanted the organ to be there earlier, but I actually don't mind not having the organ there. Because in part, I think it's actually an unnecessary bright texture that we don't really need, you know? It's, yeah. It's good. I think the power of this album so far has been that you can imagine Khalil Fong doing all of these things as a solo artist. And I think he showcased the most wonderful elements of himself as a singer and as a performer, and also brought to the table other elements of musicians that he admires and appreciates. And he's done so in a way that just is really respectable. I'm happy with it. I'm really happy with it. So I do think I prefer this version to the Eric Clapton one. I was not expecting to say that, but I did. But yeah, well done. Well done to Khalil Fong on that one. LC says, haha, don't worry, Logan, this is a great rendition. Yeah, you probably weren't. You might not have been so sure, LC, when I was having doubts and kind of making funny faces. I genuinely was unsure, but we got there in the end. The God of Guitar. Gonna have a hot take here. This is my hot take of the day. I don't really rate Eric Clapton as a guitarist. I've heard a lot of phenomenal guitarists in my time. I understand that he was a trendsetter, and that in the kind of the rock blues scene, other times he was most active, he was phenomenal. But there's just so many other guitarists, in my opinion, which were as if not more influential than him. And in regards to his technique, it's just... If I go Eric Clapton... Okay, let's go on a bit of a side tangent here, okay? This is why I don't like Eric Clapton. Okay, I'm gonna make this big so you guys can read it if you want to. No, not that big. Controversy tends to follow musicians around, especially musicians who are celebrities on larger stages. This is a story about Eric Clapton, okay? Perhaps it has something to do with the sheer amount of attention that is sometimes cast upon one particular person, which is of course not natural or even healthy. This is. I'm just gonna make it big. Can I make it small again? I can. Cool. These ads are terrible. These are absolutely abysmal. These adverts are horrific. Yeah. There have been various cases in the past, and for some strange reason, 1976 was a year for political controversy among rock stars, with a number of political outbursts tending to take shape in the form of fascist comments. It was around this time when David Bowie rolled his ghostly Thin White Duke carried out a similar amnesiac Station to Station album. During an interview with a Swedish newspaper, Bowie uttered the regrettable words, "I believe Britain could benefit from a fascist leader." In addition, Bowie was also seen allegedly doing the Nazi salute from a car model that Hitler drove as well. Now, that was not to do with. I just didn't know that about Bowie. If that's correct, that's pretty wild. During a concert in that same year, a drunken Eric Clapton went on a rant about dark-skinned immigrants, and in giving credence to the politician's rhetoric, this is Enoch Powell, suggested that Powell was correct in his flagrantly fascist stance. You may be thinking, how bad could Eric Clapton's comments really have been? Well, pretty damn terrible. "Stop Britain from becoming a black colony. Get the foreigners out," exclaimed Clapton to his captive audience. Get the, I don't know if I can say this, get the W's out, the wogs out, get the coons out, keep Britain white. He began his remarks in the worst possible way by addressing the audience. "Do we have any foreigners in the audience tonight? If so, please put up your hands. So where are you? Well, wherever you are, I think you all should just leave. Not just leave our country. I don't want you here in the room or in my country." He added, "Listen to me, man. I think we should all send them back." This is why I don't like Eric Clapton, because Eric Clapton is a terrible person. At least he said terrible things. I'm not saying that. This is what I said about me. Maybe another time, but I just want to say I respect Eric Clapton in regards to his music. He's made some great music, right? But I do not respect him as a person, because what he said, especially to a live audience, even if inebriated, often when people are drunk, they're the most honest. So yeah, I don't like him as a person, but his music is fine. Anyways, enough about me. We're going to continue to go forward. And yeah, listen to Moon River. And yeah, you can check out literally just type, "Is Eric Clapton a racist?" into, he also doesn't believe in the vaccine stuff, by the way. He doesn't think the COVID vaccine is real or something like that. I remember reading that as well. He doesn't, there's a lot of fun stuff that Eric Clapton says. We've got Moon River, track number 9.
Moon River,
Never get to know your heroes, boys and girls.
I'm crossing you in style someday. Oh, dream maker, you heart
What a lovely transition.
breaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way.
I love the rubato, the free flow style, not adhering to a set tempo. I think that's fantastic.
Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting round the bend.
The soul trumpet in the background is wonderful. I just love how eerie it is. Just the feeling of that trumpet, kind of you passing by the trumpet as you listen to the song.
Moon River and me.
So who is playing the guitar in this song? Is it who is playing the song here? Is it Khalil Fong? Is it someone else? I would like to know. Again, the trumpet solo here is a great transition from some of the jazzy sort of focused kind of acoustic stuff we had. Phenomenal strings work though.
Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same.
Really somber into an album though, isn't it?
Rainbows end, waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend.
And the way that he's singing is so personable and easy to listen to. It's so relaxing and charming. And I just think the color of the guitar masks any need for anything else.
It's moon, river, and me.
Dude, what an absolute champ. Dude, this album was awesome. This is such a good album. Why have I been waiting so long to review this guy? Damn it. Damn it. It's so dope. Moon River, I think, you know, like such wonderful atmospheric language, you know, like Dreammaker, you heartbreak, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. And the accompaniment of the really luxuriously performed guitar parts by Khalil Fong, apparently, thank you to Elsie from that. You just get that companionship, like he's singing to you. Going on that adventure with you. And the trumpet by Dante Winslow, it's just such a lovely little additional bit of airy kind of fluffiness up in the top register there to fill out the composition and make it sound complete. Because we needed nothing more than the vocals and the guitar and the trumpet. You know, there was a fair amount of low end in that. I'm thinking that might be nylon string guitar there, like a classical guitar. Oh, dude, it was sensational. This is probably one of my favorite tracks off of the album. It was so simple. You know, I love the fact that we didn't just stick to a set tempo. We kind of played without a click track or anything like that. Things slowed down, came forward, sped up, etc. There was flexibility there in the delivery. And ultimately, it was just an absolute slammer of a vibe overall. I'm not sure who made the original track, Moon River, but look, if we would just take a moment, okay? Because I agree with Blue Dinner Box here. This song is a nice way to end the album. We're going to do the conclusion time. We're going to do the conclusion time because I want to talk about what this album was. This album, no joke, was one of my favorite albums that I reviewed in quite a long time. And maybe I say that in every time, but I don't think I do. Usually I focus on the fact that I've enjoyed reviewing an album. But there were no weak tracks within this, even bad, where it was like a Michael Jackson cover. I can still appreciate the absolute gumption of the dude to try. And Audrey Hepburn? Dude, he covered Audrey Hepburn. Thank you, Elsie. That is wonderful, dude. All these... To cover these tracks by monumentally, phenomenally massive musicians, some of them who may not be particularly comfortable with people covering their work on this kind of level through like their own album, for them to be able to cover these tracks like this, and also for the original people who made, because you kind of have to get permission to cover tracks like this as I understand it. I'm not sure if it's okay in certain situations to just record a version of someone else's song and profit off of it. I'm not sure if that's okay. I could be wrong. I don't know if that's okay. I'm pretty sure there's an issue with that, like legally. I could be wrong though. I just maybe need to Google it, but I'm assuming there were permissions given in some of these tracks to do versions of them, and I adore that to pieces. I think that's wonderful. I think that he sang each of them incredibly well in a way that was very sort of faithful to the original, whilst also trying to make them his own. Bad, even with Bad, he did his best to kind of sort of like approach it in his own way and kind of capture some of the personality of it. It was damn near impossible for anyone to really be Michael Jackson, but he wasn't trying to be, so I'm thankful for that. He tried to find a midpoint, and even if it wasn't a totally convincing performance there, it was still good. And by itself, without the comparison, I think it was great. You know, songs like the Red Bean and the Remember songs, I think that there was an attempt to try and be a little more conservative and careful with the way that he sang those, and tried to be more sort of like he tried to be more kind of like respectful to the originals. Maybe that was the case with other tracks like Georgia on My Mind, and nothing's going to change my love for you. I think was definitely. I think the really big popular ones he was more careful with, and some of the ones like La Bamba, where like maybe they weren't as like universally sort of like known. Where and even in Western world, like there are various versions of that track, but La Bamba was an absolute masterstroke. La Bamba was probably my favorite track on the album, but then it was probably equaled with Moon River, where La Bamba showcased a phenomenal display of talent and finesse on the different key and horn parts. Moon River, his guitar playing was absolutely damn near flawless. I did not know he could play like that. This is the importance of understanding what a musician is capable of before you listen to their work, because I heard him and I was like, holy shit, who is playing this guitar? How are they managing to pull this off? And I just, it's him. It's just one of the best acoustic covers I've heard. Moon River. I would happily listen to Moon River outside of these reviews on a daily basis. La Bamba is more sort of like active listening. You've got to really kind of pay personal attention to that. Nothing's going to change my love for you. You know, obviously that one's just like a fan favorite. Georgia on My Mind was like one of the sleepers that I didn't expect to really, really love, but I did. It makes me want to listen to Ray Charles. And Wonderful Tonight, I mean, I know I went on a bit of a tangent about Eric Clapton, and I don't want to talk about him anymore because I don't like him, but I can respect the original track, the music itself, and I think that Khalil Fong did make it his own there, gave him more of a kind of soulish, kind of jazzy sort of like vibe there, as opposed to like the sort of pure sort of like acoustic kind of ballad element, that kind of, whatever the hell Eric was going to do in the original. And it's cool. It's cool. You know, and just before I go, there are songs I like from Eric Clapton, like Tears in Heaven, and some of his Cream stuff, but aside from that. But look, the instrumental performances within this track are diverse, and it's difficult for me to really sort of sum them up, and they're damn near flawless. The studio production was damn near flawless. There was lots of dynamic range there, which I appreciated. Lots of fun little stuff going on with the synths, the strings, the brass, the drums, the guitar, the bass, all the different instruments. We had a whole entire orchestras. We had the whole entire orchestra to go through. And he used it at his full disposal. And some big band parts, some ones were just minimal stuff like Moon River. Nailed every single take. No complaints about this one. And I've seen a couple of you guys, such as Blue Dinner Box, sort of mention that you know, you don't really like some of his singles. And that's okay. That's okay. That's cool. I think it's important to note that you can just not appreciate his stuff, and that's fine. I look at it from purely at this point because I'm kind of brainwashed myself into listening to music and valuing it on the criteria I have in my own head, because I'm not a normal person anymore through doing thousands of these reviews. I can just see that all the boxes are ticked in this one. I don't have a single complaint about these tracks. But that's cool. Whoever hasn't heard Ray Charles' original of Georgia must do it's quite epic. Absolutely, LC. Absolutely. Go check out Ray Charles' work if you haven't already, everyone. Please do that. I think after this album, Khalil Fong's music style began to change. See, I wouldn't know, but we can maybe listen to more Khalil Fong stuff. I have heard people say that I should do stuff in the chronological order of how he did it. That would take a long time. Like, if he's done like 5 albums, it's going to take 5 years because I do an album per year per musician at this point. But yeah, I think Khalil Fong is a rare musician who doesn't have a bad album. I'm going to take your word for it at this point because I can't verify otherwise. LC says, please let us vote on the next Xiang Yuxing album if you do review him soon. Yeah, I know. I said I was going to do Xiang Yuxing. Honestly, like, people have been telling me to do Leslie Cheung for a while. I want to do Leslie Cheung just because I haven't done them. So Leslie might be good to do next. There's other musicians as well. I've got a big list of albums that you guys have kind of taken me through in the past. We've got like a big lot of stuff to do. But Xiang Yuxing will be done soon. And it'll be a second album. I'm excited for it, don't get me wrong. It's just looking that far into the future is tricky for me. But look, great album. Thanks to all of you who recommended me for listening through this. This is my album live stream, my review of Timeless by Khalil Fong, an absolutely sensational album that I would thoroughly recommend to anyone who wants to listen to. Was an introduction to Khalil Fong's work. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out Khalil Fong's various social medias and the Spotify page, and I'll link to that there. And stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need to help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. We do have a fan request live stream next weekend on the 22nd, and then if I'm going to do Leslie Cheung, I suppose that'll be the 29th. I'll catch you in the next live stream. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. And thanks for coming along to this live stream, right? And just before I go, actually, go join the Discord if you haven't already, because that is where the live stream schedules are typically done. Spiderhands up. 3, 2, 1.